So I'm here at Studio 540, starting my week off with a private. Got some local law enforcement here. Working on some concepts that might be applicable for them in the heat of battle, as well as just good fundamental basics for stand-up takedowns that I like to use. So come on and enjoy. It's important when we warm up to kind of get in coordination with your partner so that moves become easy, because the movement, you're in sync a little bit. So we're going to move laterally, we're going to move backwards, we're going to move forwards. In this case, we're going to move backwards. And same grips, and when my left foot goes back, I kind of want to pull so my partner's right foot goes forward. So then I'm going to slide back with my right foot, but I'm not going to rotate and become like a lefty, essentially. I don't want to like have two identities. I want to have one identity. I'm a righty. So when I step back, it almost appears I'm crossing my feet, which every hardo online in their mom's basement is going to be saying, don't cross your feet. It's like, it doesn't matter. You don't hang out here all day, maybe, but just in conjunction with smooth movement, just walk. I'm pulling, I'm sliding, I'm sliding, just walk. Just walk like, there we go. Right, how much easier that is? So I'm going to move backwards. 1, 2. So every time I move with my left foot back, there's a little bit of a pull and a frame. So that opportunity could arise within movement transition. Rather, we're both standing here and I'm trying to do a move. So difficult, right? There we go. Pulling, sliding, dragging. So if the opportunity did arise, bah, I have a movement that correlates with a move, rather than just a bunch of moves. Make sense?
Makes sense.
Okay, let's do it. Good, good. Pull with those hands just a skosh, and your left leg moves back. Good. You know, pro tip, turn it a little inwards. Like, that loads your hips. So when you move backwards, say I did want to do a movement that has a move connected to it, you're already like, your hip is already loaded. If you're walking backwards like this, good luck turning, right? It's kind of like an awkward angle, kind of bow-legged. So when I'm moving backwards, my right leg is always kind of framed a certain angle. So if I did want to rotate and turn, it's a lot easier than kind of like, how do I turn it that way? Yep. So kind of use that in your next sequence. Good. Now use those hands and get that right arm off your neck. Remember what we talked about? Good. No one grabs me unless I want to. Gets me in the right mood, ready to roll, ready to teach, motivated, loose feeling. My aches and pains seem to dissipate over the course of the next 20 or 30 minutes, so I enjoy the ride. Get used to like movement. Remember that angle we talked about, the sacred geometry of off balancing someone, Kazushi? A lot of times it's forward into an angle, to an angle, to a back angle, straight back, a back 45, lateral, and front angle. So that's like 8 areas of off balance, at least in Judo, the sacred geometry. In this case, we're going to rotate. We're going to be able to find offense here with Sasai, with Oji, with after the fact. So we're unbalancing in a way where we understand in a predictive way what their next step is going to be based on something I'm doing. So I'm going to be able to circle and pull. You see that? Whether we have a lat, we have neck, we have inside tie, we'll do all 3. So I want each person to do 30, 10 of each. Neck, inside tie, lat as far as a pump. So 3 positions, a collar tie, an inside tie, and an underhook. So they're all a little different from each other, right? So I say let's start with the most easy, which is a collar tie. You kind of have like this neck to whip and rotate behind it, right? I can see Matt steps perfectly every time I step, almost as though I'm doing Osotogari. I step and I rotate and I pivot, not switching my stance. It's common to like, no, I want to keep that right foot forward, right? 1, 2, 3, okay? So Matt, you start the party. Pivot. Good. Kind of instead of squaring your stance up, lead with that right foot. Watch my feet, Matt. You didn't see it, so off my right foot. Great. Dominant foot forward. Good. Now breathe out. Good. twitch that right elbow behind you. You seen the movie Roadhouse, the old one?
Yes.
There's before like real fight choreography, I think. So like Patrick Swayze, like 3 or 4 times, elbows the dude behind him at the bar, and they just go down. That's kind of what you want to think with your elbow. Like twitch it. See how that foot follows? And you could, man, depending on varying partners, you know how long their step is, how short their step is, and what move correlates to that little balance break. So just twitch that elbow. And now we're going inside tie, yeah? So inside tie. You see how my elbow kind of flares in a way where it's hard for my partner to try and come to the inside with your hand. Do you see that? Like, I can at least frame it and even keep someone stuck there. So when I step, it's the same movement. But now we're in a different zone, so to speak. We're not, our horns aren't locked in a way where it's like, this is kind of scary. This is a little safer, right? A double inside tie or inside outside, where my inside tie is going to do the pulling. Once you get good enough, you can do this from outside too, and it might even be easier to shoot because we're underneath this arm rather than here. If we do this and we try and shoot, a lot of times they're right in their underhook or their down block. So kind of get used to inside outside ties to be able to pull and make that step happen, and we can load to shoot. We could be able to be ready for a foot sweep. All those movements. Because you said you do a lot of your outside stuff. Yeah, of course. Yeah, shooting and even Ashi Waza. Good. Breathe out. Back. Each time, each rep. If you feel like you're getting value out of these videos, make sure to like and subscribe. And now back to the video. We're gonna go lateral movement, Ashi Waza. So easy stuff. Like if we're able to just like make connection with our right foot and then make connection with our left foot, that's all I'm looking for. I don't need perfect form. Just to get like your sensory depth and perception, almost like that coordination built, rather than looking at something and like falling and hurting someone. It's just a tip, baby. Just like get that touch, right? So I'm gonna touch with my right when I move to my left, and then I'm gonna touch with my left when I move to my right. So I'm gonna go 1, 2, and on 3 I'm gonna make contact. And as an uke, you know, try and concede. Like allow a contact point to happen and your balance to be broken, and you're gonna catch your balance with your support foot rather than, you know, settle, because that's not gonna help your partner learn. So I'm gonna move to my right, sweep to my left. 1, 2, and 3. Perfect. I'm gonna move to my left, sweep to my right. Good. And as an uke, like, you should know when the sweep's coming. Just keep moving and follow. So if I'm going, good, Matt. Good, I'm moving this direction. I'm using my left hand to kind of guide it. Good. Back and forth 10 times, making contact. Sweep and jump. Sweeps over, right? You kind of want to load by stomping, just like a good strike, unless it's like a Superman punch. But you want to load with your support foot. So you see how out of bounds that could be your last step. But if you're jumping as you sweep, it's over. Like it better work right there. All right. One. Stomp. There we go, and keep that toe. I would say hold it for a 1 count, like, okay. Palm of your foot, Matt. Very good, you're a lefty, dude. At least from that right. Good. Nice and relaxed. We're in a safe space, no reason to be stiff, no rigor mortis body. Nice and loose. All right, loosen up, guys. Quicker on that sweep. There we go. Okay, same thing applies, right, as the uke. So if you're going on me, nice and loose, just the tip, just touch it. Stomp this foot, sweep this one quicker. Okay, so now the opposite is true, go this direction. Left foot, sweeps, good. Do you see how? You want to give your opponent the opportunity to feel what could be, and it helps to do a little bit of that work, that lifting, as far as the effortless moment of that foot sweep is going to be where those heels click, rather than like giving someone a foot. Yeah. Like if you foot sweep my left foot with your right, and I do it for them, yeah. he's not building in that contact point, how far the distance is, how to support his sweep with his supporting foot, with weight distribution. So just like, fra-di-la-di-la, oh, the foot sweep. Yeah. There you go, okay, a little more contact point control, but good timing. Good. There we go. Love it, dog. I missed it on that one. See how you swept really well. The timing was good. But your right foot,
Got stuck.
well, it wasn't stuck. It was more like you planted it in a way that couldn't adjust for all the momentum lateral. So have your last step more dynamic and almost like you're stomping on a club.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
nah, but a good foot sweep, there was a little hitch. It was like a hop, 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 hop sweep. One step hard with your supporting foot, not your sweeping foot. So this, your right foot's gonna stomp probably like right around here. Yeah, I was like literally right there. We're just gonna walk forward and our partner mat here is just gonna that. So that. Rather than like I step forward with the other foot and there's like a little bit of like bumpiness, so that. Right? Now when I'm gonna sweep with my right foot, I make sure my left foot is almost trying to stomp on their right foot. So when I step forward, right? Makes sense? So it might be easier to do this static where we're not moving in a straight line forward. So that way I could learn to pull rather than like maybe push and now the whole time I'm just pushing. Because this foot sweep really is kind of predicated on pulling to finish. So when I make contact, so I pull in and then down. There's a natural inclination for just about every human, me included, when I make contact to try and push them over that foot. All that's doing is giving them their balance back, usually. So when we make contact, pulling in and down is the mechanism for finishing. Unless you have perfect timing and you really do kick a 60-yard field goal, which we're not trying to hurt people. We're just trying to, you know, nicely take someone down, right? Just like so. So we make contact, pull in a little. Don't worry about going down until it's on 10. Number 10, I want a nice little break fall. Be okay with the mat. We're in a nerfed environment. We're in the trust tree in the nest, right? So let's be safe. 10, we're throwing. That's good, that's it. Good. You're just building those instincts for your feet. You've probably been doing ankle picks for, I don't know, 20 years? Yeah. So this is just a shortcut to an ankle pick, right? Like, right, just touch it. Cool. And if you miss it, you're not down here.
Yeah.
Fuck, bro, like, good luck being down there and jiu-jitsu or missing, you know? Okay, is that room?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Now we're just gonna go in a circle. And I say on this one, just practice your strong side. We'll get to the weak side. As a righty, I wanna have my partner stand square rather than staggered. So collar tie's fine, underhook's fine, deep seatbelt, fine, 2-on-1, fine. All those work. We're gonna step towards the foot we want a foot sweep, and then we're gonna rotate. Most humans will follow you and face you. That moment is when that foot's light. So a lot of times we're gonna have to pull the far arm, pull the head, pull the wrist, something to make that step be more initiated, right? And so, just make contact. I'm a lefty, so everything I would do in this case is from here, right? I'm just making contact. I'm really close to that foot. I'm not stepping way out here to sleep, I'm stepping right behind it, right next to it, so I could track it.
You're almost feeling it already. Okay. That makes a lot of
Let's
sense.
get 10 each. Pivot around that foot, wait till they step. Be a little patient here. Yep, rotate.
How quick is this back spin?
Is it start slow, just so you understand, like, good, Matt. Now pull in as you sweep with your right elbow. And try not to look down once you make contact. That's bowing your butt out. Because you could track that foot without ever looking down. So if I was gonna do this, my left foot, I don't have to look down, right? Because if I step right next to that foot,
I know exactly.
Sorry, how long? It's a short step.
it's a short step. Good. Don't worry about no place like home, Dorothy, clicking your heels.
Gotcha.
Just let that
Let it
foot
take
come.
it.
Yeah. Good. Now don't lean, right? Don't lean here, right? When you're foot sweeping, don't fall down first. Stand upright. Good. Elbows down when you finish. Good. Hands down a little bit here. When you're sweeping, instead of like leaning, because you might fall too. I think whoever's younger and more athletic ends up on top. No, if we're both falling, it's anyone's game. But if we're here, less likely. But if we're timbering and turning like a big bus wheel or whatever, you know, oh, I'm gonna throw you, you're falling too.
Yeah.
Good. Do you see how far away your step was though? You step
I
like
didn't
out, just step forward.
Just right here.
Yep, that's it. Even on top of his little toe.
Gotcha.
Might not like you much, but you know you're there. That was such a big step. So much. Just
Yeah.
make it smaller. So you're going righty?
Yeah.
That's my.
Literally like skin to skin. Okay.
I could track it a lot easier. Gotcha.
Just for now, you look down. Just for right now.
Better. Now less of a big sweep. Just like get his foot to move. That's all the goal is. Just the timing feel, rather than kicking a 40-yard field goal. That's it. Good. Do less. Do it on me. Watch. Do it on me. That's it. Okay. Let your leg be a little bit heavier for his foot sweep, rather than when you sweep it. Okay. So he gets a good feel of it. Good. Yes.
That was the movement.
Yeah. Lock it in. Now instead of this on our finish, that. Hold inwards. And then down for the kill. Right?
That's it.
That's it.
Oh.
I think it's important to note to preserve our partner here.
Sorry,
Okay?
Joe.
And that's one hand on. I don't care which hand. But their opposite hand will be allowed to slap, break fall, and transition safely. So if you're holding on with the head or the wrist, Uke's partner, other hand is going to slap. So if I hold on with this here, say, no, you just take the same fall. Right? Or the opposite. Make sense?
Understood.
So either way, you have a transition built in and a safety net for your partner, rather than like,
Yeah.
and then they roll out and they're got the wind knocked out of them, but then you're both neutral.
So I just don't let him go. I'll be a good partner. Hold on.
Hold on both hands or one hand,
Okay.
either hand.
Understood. 1, 2.
See it here. Pull in, down, and let go with one hand or the other at the very end, or neither.
Okay.
Nothing's different. Look at you, but you let go.
I tried
with
it.
one hand, but you have to let go of both.
Yeah, I tried it.
Because we do at some point. We want to build in like a transition, like a submission, control position.
Yeah.
So if I'm doing this, my favorite is to hold on with the sleeve hand or the wrist.
Gotcha.
So that way I have movements on this arm. So if I throw this, a lot of times I throw this arm is where I'm looking to get my kill out of. Or if the other hand is more knee on belly or triangles. Like if I'm sweeping with this and I hold on with this, I'm able to, you know, transition rather than like pow. Right? That's something we'll get to obviously, but for now. So step, circle, await his step. Pull with your right. Make him step with his left foot. Too soon. There you go. Right? I waited for this foot to load all the weight on and this foot to be light. Doesn't mean do the sweep for me. Okay.
I gotta be nice and neutral.
There we go. Do you see how? His hips and your hips should be facing each other until the bitter end form. Good. Pretty good. Ooh, you okay?
Oh, good. Yeah.
Okay, so
I'll let go of the other one.
you kind of back swept him, which means it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing, but hold on with one hand. Otherwise, we're going to see that on replay
Yeah, let go
tomorrow. On slow-mo, we'll put it maybe. Ooh, you okay?
I just like
But,
to
when I sweep this and I make contact big time, do you see how much easier that fall was because I was like helping you guide down? Yeah. Same thing is true here. One hand on.
And Justin, can I do better at like a uke or not?
You fell flat on your back.
Yeah.
So if I'm getting foot sweep, do a nice little foot sweep on me the same way. Step circle, the whole thing. Watch. Yep. Do you see this fall? That's different than like dead cockroach, you know? So
That's on me. I switched the hand.
you want to rotate
All
it.
good. All good. All good.
Good. Okay, remember, slap next to your body, not up here. Remember I talked about my AC joint earlier? That's this kind of stuff or that kind of stuff, right? Good. Sweep a little closer to you. That's it. Up there. Last couple. Oh, that's our tent pole rep right there. If you could mimic that one. It seemed like less, right? Less work, less movement, more efficiency. So good. The stuff we warmed up, movement, pattern recognition, understanding you're leading a dance. That's going to lead to easy foot sweeps.
Sweet.
It's really hard to plan foot sweeps. It's almost like something kicks in, like your foot has its own like tentacle, like an octopus. You know, octopus have 9 brains. Like your foot becomes this separate entity where a movement arises. Oh well, I don't even know how that happened because it instinctually is driven by recognition of a position rather than like, well, if I do A, B, and C and D, it'll usually lead to that next successful step. It usually isn't like that because things move so fast that you can't plan for things, especially on your feet. We're on the mat, things settle, and it's like, okay, I have a system. It's a little slower. But in this case, you have to recognize a step or half a step or a weight distribution change. And that's when you instinctively initiate a movement like this. So the more reps, the better. You know, I say homework, stand on one foot, get used to this hockey stick body where my foot is rotated, and if you have to step, don't. Hop. So you remain like foot sweeping rather than I swept and I stepped and it's over.
Yeah.
So get usually accustomed to being on one foot maybe a little more regularly than like on 2 feet always, and I have to attack with 2 feet on the mat. In this case, you could become a little more efficient, but you gotta stand upright now. If you have to have weight on your back foot, that means your stance is probably more upright. If I'm down here, my feet are a little heavier and flatter, but the more I come up, the more weight should go on my back foot. That means your front leg is lighter, which you gotta be able to do both things. You gotta be able to down block and sprawl, as well as pivot and rotate. If people are attacking my legs, you can't just like look at it. You have to be able to like move that thing backwards. So it's like knowing everything, so you could be efficient with your foot sweeps. You can't just like know the foot sweeps and everything will be okay. It's like you have to be able to tie up and make a contact point. Like if I want to do a foot sweep, I usually have to like get a hand on. If I could get a hand on, now I can come up right. If I'm down here without hands on, I'm not just going to go like foot sweeps. I have to like, okay. Right? Okay. So play it into your whole game. Cool. Good job, guys.
Thank you. Thanks, brother. Thank you so much.
Yeah, appreciate it. We'll see you guys next week.